Let's see what I got wrong here. Go back to last week. Matchup wise, talk about Rashawn Gary's get chipped early and often. How does the team respond? I said the left tackle is a great young player, was putting some opportunities on tape. I expect Preston to continue his excellent season. Check. Packers skill group versus Vikings pressure. Packers all about ID, communication, and execution. If Packers can find for love, their extended route shown to work against the secondary. Check. Rasheed Walker versus Daniil Hunter. Daniil's premier pass rusher in this league. So they both did well. Zach Tom, I think at one point they showed Zach Tom had, 7, we'll call them pass rushers. I don't know how many true pass rushers Daniil had last night, just the way that the Green Bay Packers ran their offense. But you didn't hear about them all night. So great job by that. So those 3 matchups were fantastic. Keys to victory, defensive communication. We talked about it last week, even if they had Nick Mullins in or anybody else. The difference between those guys and Kirk Cousins is they're going to try to cut the field in half. They're going to try to minimize the amount of reads he has to take. And what you saw last night was, when he was in the pocket and he had a ton of time, any quarterbacks can step in and make throws, otherwise they're not in the National Football League. It's the amount of processing and the speed of processing that makes or breaks a quarterback. So what they're going to try to do is minimize the amount of processing they have to do with under center play action, rollouts, screens, all that. They try to do all that stuff. But when you get them off schedule, when you get them running to the sidelines towards their shoulder pads towards the sideline, they cannot operate the same. And so we did a good job of communicating. There just wasn't a lot of wide open players. You just sat back there, made your plays, let the defense win their individual matchups. They're talking about the defensive line up front. Every once in a while, they brought the one slot blitz from Keyshawn Nixon, wide open player in the middle. The guy just doesn't see him. Brock Quay, that's a pretty standard thing. Running backs just got to pick him up. Quay beats him badly. So these things they're not running a lot of just crazy. I think they were running a cross dog on that, by the way. I think McDuffie was coming around the other side. But my point is, you're winning. Preston wins. Kenny wins multiple times. Second half in particular. You're winning. So win your individual matchups, you win games. Sound defense wins. Number 2, more Aaron Jones. He got it, 20 carries, 6 yards a carry, 120 yards. I called him lighter fluid last week. I think lighter fluid is a really good kind of way to describe what Aaron Jones is to this offense. I said the Vikings are really good against the run. I just thought the way that the Packers dealt with pressure yesterday, and one thing that was interesting was the Vikings weren't coming off once you went into motion, they were going to stick with who was up. They weren't going to rock and roll and bring the other side, and they were going to, if Harrison Smith was up, Harrison Smith was coming. They might call it off, but they're not going to bring pressure from the other side. Like the disguise really wasn't that big of a deal because all the pressure the Green Bay Packers have been running. The motion. Motion kills a lot of those looks. We talked about pressure to the quarterback. I have Mullins in here. It was obviously Hill last night for at least the first half. Don't have pocket presence. Don't have great timing. Compared to their first round pick or their first string quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Didn't get him on the ground a ton. I don't even have the actual number. How many sacks did we have last night? Let me get here, guys. I have to know. Well, I'm not going to find out. It looks like I think we only had 2 or 3 sacks, but it's the off schedule, right? So having to move his feet, having to step up in the pocket, having to exit the pocket, those things really, really hurt those guys. So I thought everything we saw I think we got everything we expected to see. The one thing you never know about is Jordan going to throw? He's going to step into his throws. And man, there's obviously the touchdown that he missed and then the 4th and 1 that he missed, but he's dealing last night and stepping into throws, flipping his hips around. Just really, I mean, I think this is the best game I've seen him play. He's come, even the not a duck, but even the lob over there on the what is that, 3rd and short play to Bo Melton when the safety and the 2 safeties ran into each other. It's just the recognition. You just see the evolution of the quarterback at the quarterback position with the recognition pre-snap, the ability to adjust, and just taking what the defense gives you and doing such a good job of it. And I don't know if it's as much him or we're just seeing that like the wide receiver room continuing to develop and get better. And obviously, Jaden Reed is becoming a star with Christian Watson out. So you just got so many things, and it makes you wonder what this team looks like the entire year with Aaron Jones healthy. I think that's really, one of the takeaways is you just wonder what the record would have been with Aaron Jones healthy. My big takeaway for this game, though, pressure creates problems for young quarterbacks. Pressure creates problems for young, inexperienced quarterbacks. Pressure creates opportunities for high-level guys who are well prepared. And I think the difference in this game was the Minnesota Vikings pressure package didn't just create. The Green Bay Packers looked at that just like we did when we had Brett and go, Brett's the number one quarterback in the league against pressure. So we please bring pressure against us. And last night it looked like really Minnesota, please bring pressure. We want you to we feel really good about the rest of our matchups. We don't think your corner's going to hold up. We think you're going to play soft. We think our quarterback can make the throws, and we think that they're going to ID and communicate so they can lead to a better execution than we had years in weeks prior. And they just played at a high level. So that high pressure package didn't work as well as we're going to win up front. We're going to bring enough dogs and safety blitzes and corner blitzes or really slot nickel blitzes to keep you honest. But we're going to win our individual matchups. That matters. And we're going to try to play sound defense. We're going to play physical football. And that won last night. So hats off to game plans, DC, OC. Great job, I think, game planning with this team last night in really what is a must-win game. I'm going to hit a couple listener questions before we go. I just got to read them off the phone here because, quite frankly, I was too lazy to write them down. First one. Oh, so here we go. Your thoughts on yesterday's quarterbacks versus Jair and Stokes. Ride with the guys who will ball, even less talented. Always going to say that. Always going to say ride with the guys who are 100% committed. But here's what I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say that the other two guys aren't committed. What I'm going to say is they're probably frustrated because they think that they haven't been utilized the right way. Whether that's right or wrong. I think what also happens is with young guys, with a young guy, you can go, I want you to do this and this, and I'm happy. And they'll go, oh, okay. And they'll do that as well as they can. With an older guy, they're like, well, wait a second, I'm really good. So I want to do this, 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 and this. And sometimes they stretch themselves too thin from kind of a responsibility standpoint. It's like the younger guy, it's easier to stay in your lane. And sometimes that looks better. But again, don't minimize, don't blow this out of proportion, man. You had a 4-string quarterback in the game last night. That makes a big difference. We can't sit here and talk about quarterbacks of the Green Bay Packers every week and then go, oh, yeah, they played a 4-string quarterback in the first half and they had scored 3 points, or our quarterbacks are killing Justin Jefferson, or whatever the case may be. It's just not true. They played well, but that narrative does not play. DBs, starting DBs. Gary's stats seem to have fallen off the last few weeks. Is he being double teamed, getting more attention, or is play effort falling off? Definitely not play effort falling off. 100% not. We always talk about with Rashawn Gary, one thing that I am not a big fan. There's two things that are going on here. One is he plays, sometimes he does get doubled because he's really good. Sometimes he goes high and it doesn't work out great. They're running more kind of games with him over there, which I don't love. But here's the big thing. He's not on the field as much as he used to be. And Igbari, Lucas Van Ness, they get a lot of reps now. And they're getting reps in situations where they're passing the football. You think about how many times, it's almost like you put your second unit, and we showed it on tape. When they're on the 30-yard line going out, it's usually you want to stop. Historically, a D coordinator is going to be like, all right, I want to stop them at the 20 and the 30-yard line. And then if they get to the 40, I'll put our backups in. And then when they get to the far 40 going in, I'm going to put my first string back in because I don't want them to get a field goal. That's how they used to think about it. I don't know what they're thinking now, but these guys are starting a lot. First down, second down at the 30-yard line. You're putting your backups in, and the pass rush isn't what it usually is. But really, you're not getting Rashawn Gary reps. So maybe he's on a pitch count still. Maybe he's just not getting the reps that maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like he's not getting reps in passing situations as much as he did. Yeah. What did Joe Barry do differently? I just don't know how much they did. We've seen everything that they did last night. We've seen before. To me, it comes down to quality of play of the defensive line position. Comes down to quality of play from the entire group, really, the defensive group, but really, uh, but I think it starts with the leadership, the Prestons, the Kennys, the Rashawn. The Wooden had a big game last night, right? Barnes still shows up. Shows up. Those guys just played well. They outplayed that defense or that offensive line. And when Darrisaw gets beat early by Preston Smith, I'm promising you this: when they're sitting on the sidelines in the first series or whatever that was, second series, and they're like, "Oh, Preston Smith just beat him really bad and he heated up the quarterback." They're going like, "Man, there's a long game left." And Darrisaw's going, "Man, there's a long game left. He already beat me on the first series, second series. Like that's a problem." Even though he didn't get a sack, you start thinking about it, and it changes the way you play football, especially for young guys. I'm talking about you could be talking about the tackle or the quarterback. That's what happens. So, guys, listen, thanks so much for watching these shows. 2024, I'm going to change. We're going to change this up a little bit, I think, as far as how it's branded and try to do a couple different things. But I really, selfishly, I really like watching film and breaking down tapes. For those of you who enjoy watching these shows and hit the like buttons and subscribe and stuff and keep it going, make me feel like it's what's the word I'm looking for? It makes me feel like I'm doing some sort of useful thing for the Green Bay Packers community. Thank you. Happy New Year's to everybody. We'll get a preview show out for the Bears game upcoming. It's going to be exciting, but enjoy the day. Enjoy some of the college football that's on today. I think it's even playing right now, but we'll talk to you soon.